A lot of the comments in my last video about the scam, well, other than the ones where people think I made the entire story up, were about how buying old synthesizers is pointless because you can get the same sound and better functionality out of a plugin. While I don't completely disagree with this, there's something about vintage synths that I want to talk about, so today I'm going to tell you why I bought a vintage synth and why I think you should too. Here it is, in all its glory, the Roland Juno 60. I bought this one from a guy in Los Angeles and it is far from mint condition. The faceplate has scuffs and scratches, the wood veneer is peeling all over, and after I got it, I had to replace every single slider on the synth because the old ones were filled with dirt and grime. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but that's what gives it character. This Juno has something called the Minerva MIDI mod on it, which lets me control every parameter via MIDI, and it also has a chorus input mod, so I can run external signals into the chorus for processing, which is pretty cool. This isn't going to be a Juno review video. There are plenty of those on YouTube and they all feature better keyboard players than me. I want to use this synth to create 3 sounds for a sci-fi trailer cue I'm working on. The plan is to start with a blank patch and transform it into my own sound. I already have some MIDI generated for these sounds, but here's the track and we're just going to skip to the back end so we can get straight to it. Let's start with making a pad to fill out the stereo image. I'm going to explain what I'm doing along the way here. All right, we have a blank patch here. Let's go ahead and turn up the decay and sustain. Nice pulse width. You can see it change. It's nice. Bring in a triangle wave. Let's turn the attack up. Nice swell. Very pad-like. Little release. Let's go ahead and cut off some of the low end. Just don't need it. And let's bring in that famous Juno chorus. Already sounding amazing. So now what I want to do is I want the filter to do this. So I want to slowly filter down as I hold a chord. And because this one has the mod, I'm going to go to the second page and we are going to use the envelope for the filter because it gives you an additional one, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and turn up the envelope, switch this to a negative envelope. We're pretty much there. Let's turn the attack up a little and let's bring the decay all the way up. More release. And we have a nice pad. Let's record that in. Here it is without the pad. And let's put the pad in. Before we go on, if you are digging these sounds, I actually sampled every patch from my Juno 60 and created a free sampler called the Juno 56. because there's really only 56 patches. Check this out. All you need to do is download the Decent Sampler, which is free, and you can download my instrument from the link in the description with no strings attached. Also, if you want more things like this, check out my music course, Full-Time Music Creator, and get free sample packs, discounts from the biggest audio brands, and the inside scoop on music production. Let's get back to it. Let's make a shorter staccato sound that we can use as an arpeggiator to give the back end some movement. Another blank patch here. For the arpeggiator, we want the attack to be short, and we just want a little decay. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Let's do 2, and let's just play a chord. I'm going to speed it up, so I'm going to go to my second page. Let's go up and down. And let's bring in the sub. Turn on chorus 2. And if you want to make the notes longer, you can just pull the decay up or the sustain. So a lot of times while I'm actually recording it back in, I like to do that towards the end, and it just kind of fills out the sounds. Let's play this with the chords. I'm going to bring up a little release. Now what I'm going to do is actually run this through my modular rig, and as it's recording, slowly turn up the distortion using the Mimosa, which is a tube module. Here's a string arp and the new arpeggiator playing together. And let's bring it all in. And finally, I'm going to create a bass pulse. Right now, the synth is polyphonic. We could play chords. Now let's go ahead and shut it off. We'll switch this to up, and we'll hold key transpose while we turn it on. This was actually a way to test the voice chips of the Juno, but from a musical perspective, it plays all the voices on one key, making it monophonic or unison, perfect for big bass or synth leads. Now you'll notice I can't play chords anymore because we're in unison mode. Which is pretty nasty, right? So let's turn on the sub. Let's turn the ARP back on. Speed it up. Let's turn the envelope filter up. There we go. And just like that, we got a nice low bass using all the voices on one oscillator. I'm also going to turn on the EQ on my 1273 just to give it a little extra low end. Here's the track without the 3 sounds we just created. Here are the 3 sounds soloed by themselves. And here's the full track. So yeah, you can absolutely achieve these sounds with plugins and emulators. I use the Arturia June 6V all the time, especially if I need to recall an exact sound later on. But now I also have my Juno 56 plugin, which is dope, you should check it out. What you get from having an instrument like this is purely inspiration. The lack of features, the small amount of presets, the minimal flexibility, all of these limitations are what force you to be creative. I get lost scrolling through hundreds of presets looking for the perfect sound. When I'm forced to work with what I have, I end up creating something unique. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy a $2,000 synth. Even a little $50 Casio keyboard from the 80s will do. The simplicity of these old instruments is what makes them special, or at least finding something that's more on the lines of one feature per knob. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hit me with a like or a sub for the algorithm, and see you in the next one. We out.